Marcus Webb's finger hovered over the delete button. On the screen before him, timestamp 11:47 p.m., his son Oliver sat crying in bed, while a woman who'd worked for them barely a week sat beside him in the darkness. Marcus should intervene. Call upstairs. Fire her for overstepping. Instead, he turned up the volume. I hate it. Oliver's voice cracked through the speakers. I hate this chair. I hate that I can't. I just hate it. The woman, Sophia Chun, hired 6 days ago, didn't rush to comfort him. Didn't offer tissues or platitudes. She simply said, I know you do. Marcus leaned closer to the monitor, his coffee forgotten, his quarterly reports minimized to nothing. Everyone always says it's okay. Oliver continued, anger bleeding through tears. That I'm still me. That I'm so brave. But it's not okay. Marcus braced for the standard caregiver response. The gentle correction. The redirection to positive thinking. Mrs. Donovan, the previous caregiver, would have launched into breathing exercises by now. Sophia's response cut through the silence like glass. You're right. It's not okay. What happened to you wasn't fair. Marcus's hand fell away from the mouse. For years since the accident that had stolen Oliver's ability to walk. For years of specialists and therapists and caregivers who cycled through their home like seasonal staff. For years of Marcus watching through hidden cameras, trying to protect his son from a world that had already broken him once. The cameras had been installed 3 years ago, after Marcus caught the second caregiver scrolling through his phone, while 7-year-old Oliver struggled to reach his water glass. The boy had fallen. Not seriously, but enough. Enough for Marcus to realize that money couldn't buy vigilance. Only he could watch. Only he could protect. So he'd installed cameras in every room. Bedroom, bathroom excluded for privacy, living room, kitchen, therapy room, hallways. 16 feeds total, accessible from his phone, his laptop, his office monitors. He'd told himself it was temporary, just until he found someone trustworthy. 3 years later, the cameras remained. The trust never came. Until now, watching this stranger validate his son's pain instead of dismissing it, Marcus felt something shift in his chest. On screen, Oliver's crying had softened. Do you think I'll ever walk again? The question Marcus himself had asked a dozen doctors. The question that haunted every therapy session, every specialist appointment, every quiet moment when Oliver stared at his legs like they belonged to someone else. Sophia didn't answer immediately. The silence stretched 15 seconds. 20. Marcus counted. I don't know, Ollie, she finally said. I really don't. Doctors don't know either, even if they pretend they do. Marcus expected Oliver to crumble. Instead, his son's voice came out small but steady. So, probably not. Maybe not the way you remember, Sophia agreed. But that doesn't mean you can't move. Marcus watched her help Oliver sit up, guide his hands to his own legs. Close your eyes. Remember what walking felt like. Don't tell me, just remember. Oliver closed his eyes, the weight shifting from foot to foot. Sophia continued, her voice low and rhythmic. The way your arms swung. The rhythm of it. Can you feel it? The memory. Yeah, Oliver whispered. That memory is real. It's in your brain. Your brain still knows how to walk. It's just that the signals can't get through right now. But your arms work. Your core works. You can create new patterns. But it won't be the same. No, it won't. And you can grieve that. You should grieve that. The word hit Marcus like a fist. Grieve. In 4 years, not one therapist had used that word. They'd focused on progress, adaptation, positive outcomes. None had acknowledged that Oliver had lost something. That loss deserved mourning. Everyone wants me to be okay with it, Oliver said, and Marcus heard his own failure in those words. I don't, Sophia replied. I want you to be honest with it. Some days you'll be okay. Some days you won't. Both are fine. She began tapping a rhythm on the bed frame. Slow. Steady. Oliver's breathing synchronized to it without prompting. What if I forget? Oliver asked. What if I forget what walking felt like? You won't. And even if parts fade, we'll find new things to remember. New rhythms. New ways your body can feel strong. Marcus realized he was crying. Had been crying for the past 2 minutes without noticing. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, but the tears kept coming. Can we practice the rhythm thing tomorrow? Oliver asked. Every day if you want. Promise. Sophia paused. Then, I promise. Marcus sat in his office long after Sophia left Oliver's room. Long after the lights went dark, long after he should have gone to bed himself. The monitor glowed in the darkness, showing an empty hallway, a sleeping child, a house full of expensive things that had never once made his son laugh the way this woman had. He thought back to 6 days ago. The interview. Sophia had arrived exactly on time, carrying a simple leather portfolio and wearing clothes that were professional but not trying too hard. Her resume showed adequate credentials, some elder care, hospice work, a gap in employment where she'd cared for her father through Parkinson's. Nothing exceptional. Nothing that explained why she was different. The interview had been brief. Marcus asked standard questions about experience, availability, comfort with medical equipment. Sophia answered concisely, without overselling herself. He'd mentally noted that she probably wouldn't last long. Most didn't. Any questions for me? He'd asked, already planning to call the next candidate. Sophia had looked past him, toward the living room where Oliver sat in his wheelchair, staring at nothing. Does Oliver like music? The question had caught Marcus off guard. I don't know. What? Just wondering. Kids usually do. He'd hired her partly from desperation. Mrs. Donovan had quit the day before, citing emotional exhaustion, and partly from curiosity. What did music have to do with anything? Now, watching her leave Oliver's room at 12:17 a.m., for hours past the end of her shift, Marcus understood. It wasn't about music. It was about connection. The first 3 days, Marcus had barely paid attention. A major acquisition was closing Friday, and he'd been drowning in due diligence reports, contract negotiations, calls with lawyers in 3 time zones. The cameras ran in the background of his home office, multiple feeds on a secondary monitor he glanced at occasionally between meetings. Day 1. Sophia had moved through the house efficiently. Professional. She'd prepared Oliver's breakfast, assisted with his morning routine, worked through the physical therapy checklist the previous occupational therapist had left. By the book. Marcus had noted it and returned to work. Day 2, he'd noticed humming. Soft, while she folded laundry in the living room. Oliver's head had turned toward the sound. Marcus almost called down to ask her to be quieter. Oliver was supposed to be reading, but the boy hadn't seemed bothered. Just attentive. Day 3, Wednesday, Sophia had brought a small Bluetooth speaker to the therapy room. Piano music, soft jazz, nothing intrusive. Oliver's exercises had the same clinical quality, but Marcus noticed his son's movements seemed slightly more engaged. Less mechanical. Thursday evening, everything changed. Marcus had planned to review the camera feeds quickly, a routine security check, then return to preparing for Friday's closing meeting. The timestamp read 6:47 p.m. Oliver's homework was finished, scattered across the coffee table. This was typically when caregivers left him alone until dinner, giving themselves a break. Sophia sat on the floor. Not in a chair. Not standing. On the hardwood floor, cross-legged, beside Oliver's wheelchair. Marcus's hand paused on the mouse. He watched. Sophia began breathing. Deeply, visibly, exaggerated. 4 counts in, hold, 4 counts out. She didn't instruct Oliver. Didn't explain what she was doing. Just breathed. After 2 minutes, Oliver's chest began rising and falling in the same pattern. Unconscious synchronization. Then Sophia's palm touched the floor. Tap. A pause. Tap. 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 A steady rhythm, 4/4 time, slow as a heartbeat. She continued for a full minute. Oliver watched her hand, mesmerized. Without speaking, without even looking at him, Sophia slid 2 wooden spoons across the floor. They came to rest near Oliver's wheelchair. Marcus held his breath. Oliver stared at the spoons. 30 seconds passed. Sophia maintained her rhythm, patient, unhurried. Oliver picked up the spoons. His first tap missed the beat. Tentative. Uncertain. Sophia didn't correct him, didn't change her pace. Just kept going. His second tap came closer to the rhythm. Third tap, synchronized. They played together for 2 full minutes. When Oliver's spoons clattered off beat, instead of frustration or correction, Sophia laughed. Not at him. Just joyful, pure sound. Oliver laughed too. Marcus couldn't remember the last time he'd heard that sound. Months. Maybe longer. The rhythm continued, mistakes now incorporated as part of the music. When they finally stopped, Sophia asked, "Again tomorrow?" Oliver's response came without hesitation. "Yeah." Marcus sat frozen at his desk. Oliver had said yes to tomorrow. His son, who'd spent 3 years treating each day as something to endure rather than anticipate, wanted tomorrow. Marcus minimized his work documents. Pulled the security feeds to full screen. Friday afternoon, 3:15 p.m. Camera feed, Oliver's bedroom. Sophia sat in the chair beside Oliver's bed, reading aloud. Marcus recognized the book, Treasure Island, one he'd bought months ago that had sat untouched on the shelf. She reached a cliffhanger, the protagonist trapped in a flooding cave, water rising, no apparent escape. She closed the book mid-sentence. "What do you think happens next?" she asked. Oliver looked confused. "You're not going to finish? I want to know what you think first." Marcus watched his son hesitate, testing whether this was real. Then Oliver launched into an elaborate escape involving a hidden tunnel and a friendly sea creature that guided the protagonist to safety. Completely different from Robert Louis Stevenson's actual plot. Sophia didn't correct him. Didn't say, "Let's see what the real author wrote." She said, "I like that better. The author should have called you." Oliver grinned. Actually grinned. And Sophia added, "Want to write it down? Make it your version?" Oliver grabbed a notebook from his nightstand. A notebook that had sat and used for over a year. He started sketching the sea creature, writing descriptions in the margins. Sophia returned to organizing his bookshelf, leaving him to create. Marcus realized what she'd done. She'd given Oliver agency. Not pity, not false praise, just permission to imagine his own ending. At 4:47 p.m., Oliver was still writing, completely absorbed. Marcus had tears on his face. He didn't remember when they'd started. Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Camera feed, therapy room. Physical therapy was Oliver's most resistant time. The previous occupational therapist had quit after 3 months, frustrated by his lack of engagement. Mrs. Donovan had treated it like a chore to check off. 15 minutes of exercises, neither of them invested, both counting down until it ended. Sophia approached it differently. "New game," she announced, holding up a deck of cards. "You hold this position." She indicated an arm extension with a resistance band, "while I stack cards. If the cards fall before I finish the deck, you win. If you drop position, I win." Oliver raised an eyebrow. That's it. That's it. She made it competitive. Not therapeutic. Just a game. Round 1. Oliver held the position 12 seconds before the resistance band slipped from his grip. Cards tumbled. "You win," Sophia said, gathering the cards. "But I'm going again. Round 2. 18 seconds. Sophia finished the stack just before Oliver's arms gave out. Held that 6 seconds longer, she observed. No celebration in her voice. No patronizing praise. Just fact. Arms are learning. Round 3. Oliver held 25 seconds, his entire upper body shaking with effort. When the band finally slipped, he was breathing hard but smiling. "That was 25, Sophia said. "Want to go for 30 next time, or different exercise?" Oliver didn't hesitate. 30. Marcus realized it was the first time in years Oliver had set his own goal. Not accepted one from a therapist. Not agreed to someone else's expectations. Chosen his own target. Sunday afternoon, 4:20 p.m. Camera feed, dining room. They were working on a jigsaw puzzle. 500 pieces. Oliver's fine motor skills were still recovering. Puzzles had always been a frustration trigger. Marcus watched his son try to place an edge piece. Once. Twice. 3 times. The piece wouldn't fit. Oliver's hands weren't cooperating. On the 4th attempt, Oliver's frustration broke. He swept his arm across the table. Pieces scattered. Some fell to the floor. "I can't even do a stupid puzzle," Oliver shouted. Marcus remembered Mrs. Donovan's response to similar outbursts. "It's okay, Oliver, let's take a breath. Immediate cleanup." Treating it like a behavioral problem. Sophia did neither. She sat back in her chair, looked at the scattered pieces, said, "Yeah, puzzles are really annoying sometimes." A long pause. Then, "Want to pick a different one? Or take a break? Or we could just leave it like this and do something else." She gave him complete control. No judgment. Oliver sat silently. Marcus counted 30 seconds. "Can you help me pick them up?" Oliver finally asked. "Sure." They gathered pieces together without speaking, not attempting the puzzle again, just organizing. Sophia started humming that same melody from earlier in the week. Oliver joined in. When they finished, Oliver said, "I don't want to do the puzzle anymore today." "Okay, what do you want to do? Can we do the rhythm thing again? Get the spoons." Marcus watched them play. That same steady beat. That same synchronization. And for the first time, he understood what all the specialists had missed. Oliver didn't need someone to fix him. He needed someone to see him. Sunday, 11:30 p.m. Marcus's office. He should have been in bed an hour ago. The cursor hovered over the button to close all camera feeds. His hand moved to click it. Something stopped him. One more check. Just one. Camera feed. Oliver's bedroom. 11:47 p.m. The light was still on. It shouldn't be. Sophia was still there. She shouldn't be. Her shift had ended at 6. She sat in the chair beside Oliver's bed. Oliver had transferred from his wheelchair, lying down, but clearly not sleeping. He was crying. Marcus's finger moved to his phone. Oliver's speed dial. He should call. Check in. Make sure everything was okay. But something about Sophia's posture stopped him. She wasn't panicking. Wasn't trying to fix it. She'd handed Oliver a box of tissues and was simply present. Marcus turned up the volume on the audio feed. I hate it, Oliver said through tears. The words Marcus had heard 47 minutes ago, but they hit differently now, knowing what came next. Hate what? Sophia asked gently. This. The chair. Everything. I hate that I can't. I just hate it. The 15-second silence felt eternal. Then Sophia said, I know you do. Everyone always says it's okay. Oliver's voice rose, anger breaking through. That I'm still me. That I'm so brave. But it's not okay. Marcus's throat tightened. He wanted to burst into that room, hold his son, tell him it would be all right. But he'd said those words before. They'd never helped. You're right, Sophia said simply. It's not okay. What happened to you wasn't fair. It wasn't your fault. And saying you're still you is stupid. Oliver went silent. So did Marcus. You're not still you, Sophia continued. You're a different you now. That doesn't mean worse, just different. And different is really, really hard. No one had ever said this to Oliver. Not the psychologist Marcus had hired. Not the support group facilitator. Not Marcus himself. They'd all focused on adaptation, resilience, moving forward. None had acknowledged that Oliver had fundamentally changed. That the boy he'd been had, in some ways, died in that intersection 4 years ago. Do you think I'll ever walk again? Oliver asked, and Marcus realized he'd been holding his breath. The pause stretched. Marcus counted again. 18 seconds. I don't know, Ollie. I really don't. Doctors don't know either, even if they pretend they do. Honest. Brutally, refreshingly honest. So, probably not, Oliver said. Maybe not the way you remember. But that doesn't mean you can't move. Marcus watched Sophia help Oliver sit up on the edge of the bed. Close your eyes. Can you do that for me? Oliver hesitated, then complied. Remember what walking felt like, Sophia said softly. Don't tell me, just remember. The weight shifting from foot to foot. The way your arms swung. The rhythm of it. 30 seconds of silence. Marcus could see Oliver's face on the monitor, eyes closed, brow furrowed in concentration. Can you feel it? The memory? Sophia asked. Yeah, Oliver whispered. She guided his hands to his legs. That memory is real. It's in your brain. Your brain still knows how to walk. It's just that the signals can't get through right now. Marcus leaned toward the monitor, watching his son's face. But your arms work, Sophia continued. Your core works. You can create new patterns, new ways to move that are yours. But it won't be the same, Oliver said, and Marcus heard the grief in his voice. No, it won't. And you can grieve that. You should grieve that. Grieve. The word landed like an anchor. Marcus thought about the past 4 years. The constant push toward progress. The relentless optimism of medical professionals. The unspoken pressure to be grateful Oliver had survived it all. No one had given him permission to mourn. Grieve. Oliver asked, confused. You lost something, Sophia said. It's okay to be sad about it. Mad about it. You don't have to be brave all the time. Oliver's crying resumed, but different now. Not the angry, frustrated tears from before. Something deeper. Release. Everyone wants me to be okay with it, Oliver said between sobs. I don't. I want you to be honest with it. Some days you'll be okay. Some days you won't. Both are fine. Sophia began tapping that familiar rhythm on the bed frame. Slow. Steady. Oliver's breathing gradually synchronized. What if I forget? Oliver asked. What if I forget what walking felt like? You won't. And even if parts fade, we'll find new things to remember. New rhythms. New ways your body can feel strong. The tapping continued. Oliver's breathing evened out. You're moving right now, Sophia said. Your lungs, your heart, your hands. That's all movement. That's all yours. Oliver was quiet for a long moment. Then, Can we practice the rhythm thing tomorrow? Every day if you want. Promise. Another pause. Then, I promise. Marcus watched Sophia stay until Oliver's breathing settled into sleep. 12:17 a.m. She finally stood, turned off the light, closed the door gently behind her. The hallway camera caught her walking toward the guest room where live-in staff stayed when needed. She stopped halfway, leaned against the wall. Just for a moment. Exhausted. Then she continued. Marcus sat in darkness, all his monitors glowing. He thought about the money he'd spent. The specialists. The equipment. The state-of-the-art wheelchair. The therapy room he'd built. The modified bathroom. The ramps throughout the house. None of it had given Oliver what Sophia just had. Permission to not be okay. Recognition that he was grieving. Hope without false promises. Marcus thought about his own grief. His ex-wife Sarah, who'd left because she couldn't bear the guilt of being the one driving when the drunk driver hit them. His career, which had consumed him even more after the accident because work was something he could control. His relationship with Oliver, which had become clinical, managing care rather than offering presence. He'd been so focused on protecting Oliver's body. He'd forgotten his son's heart was broken too. And his own heart. Also broken. Also unaddressed. Marcus looked at the clock. 12:34 a.m. He should sleep. Tomorrow was Monday. Work awaited. Instead, he opened a new email to his assistant. Cleared his calendar for Monday morning. He needed to talk to Sophia. Monday morning, 8:15 a.m. Marcus waited in the kitchen with 2 cups of coffee poured. Oliver was still sleeping. Unusual, but Sophia had told him to let the boy rest after last night's emotional release. Sophia arrived exactly at 8, as always. She paused when she saw Marcus at the table. Sit down, please, Marcus said. Is everything okay? Is Oliver? He's fine. Better than fine, actually. Because of you. Sophia sat slowly, cautious. Marcus turned his laptop toward her. The screen showed the security camera interface. All 16 feeds, labeled by room. I need to tell you something, Marcus began. It's going to sound invasive. Wrong. Maybe it is wrong. Sophia looked at the screen, then at him. Her expression was thoughtful, not angry. I've been watching, Marcus continued. Since the day you started. Before that, with every caregiver. There are cameras throughout the house. He waited for outrage. Accusations. A resignation. Instead, Sophia said, I wondered. Most houses like this have them. You knew? Suspected. You asked very specific questions about what I did on days you weren't home. Either you were watching or extremely thorough. Marcus hadn't expected this. You're not angry? Should I be? Sophia asked. You're protecting your son. I understand that. I invaded your privacy. You did, she agreed. But I chose to work here. And honestly, Mr. Webb, if watching those cameras helps you understand Oliver better, then maybe they're serving a purpose. Marcus pulled up the footage from last night. I saw this. I heard what you said to him. He showed her the clips. The rhythm session. The story. The puzzle. The late-night conversation. You gave him something I couldn't, Marcus said, his voice breaking. Something therapy couldn't. You gave him permission to be human. Sophia watched the footage without speaking. I'm sorry for invading your privacy, Marcus continued. I'm sorry for not trusting you. But I'm not sorry I saw this, because I needed to understand what I've been doing wrong. He closed the laptop. I want to offer you a new contract. Double salary. Full benefits. Whatever you need. You're not just a caregiver. You're essential to this family. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. Then she pushed the laptop back toward him. I don't want more money, Mr. Webb. Marcus blinked. Then what? I want to keep helping Oliver. Not as a contract. Not even as a job, really. Then what? As a promise. To him. That I'll be here as long as he needs me. She paused. But I have one condition. Anything. You should spend less time watching him and more time being with him. The words hit Marcus like cold water. I'm protecting him. From what? Sophia's voice was gentle but firm. I've seen you watch those screens, Mr. Webb. You see everything except the one thing he needs most. Which is his father. Not his guard. His father. Marcus opened his mouth to argue. Closed it. She was right. The cameras won't save him from being lonely, Sophia continued. From feeling like a problem to solve instead of a person to love. Marcus stared at his coffee, watching steam rise and dissipate. I don't know how to help him. Not the way you do. You don't have to help him like I do, Sophia said. You just have to be with him. That's all any of us can do. The kitchen clock ticked. Somewhere upstairs, pipes groaned as the heating system cycled on. Normal house sounds Marcus usually tuned out. I've been watching him through screens for 3 years, Marcus said quietly. I thought that was how I kept him safe. After what happened, after I wasn't there when the accident happened, I thought if I could just see everything, monitor everything, I could prevent anything bad from happening again. Sophia's expression softened. You can't prevent everything, Mr. Webb. None of us can. I know that intellectually. But knowing and accepting are different things. They are, Sophia agreed. My father had Parkinson's. I cared for him for 2 years before he died. I monitored everything, his medications, his diet, his movements. I installed cameras too, actually. I was terrified he'd fall when I wasn't there. Marcus looked up. Did he? Yes. 3 times. Once when I was in the next room. The cameras didn't prevent it. Being vigilant didn't prevent it. All that watching just meant I saw him struggle and couldn't get there fast enough. She paused. What helped wasn't the monitoring. It was the time I spent sitting with him, listening to his stories, laughing at his terrible jokes, being present for who he was, not just watching for what might go wrong. How did you learn that? The hard way. I spent the first year trying to control everything. The second year, I realized control was an illusion. So I chose connection instead. Marcus thought about the past 72 hours. Watching Sophia connect with Oliver through rhythm, through validation, through honest presence. You make it look easy. It's not easy, Sophia said. It's terrifying, actually. Being present means being vulnerable. It's much safer to watch from a distance. But less meaningful. Yes, much less meaningful. Marcus ran his hand through his hair. Last night, when Oliver asked if he'd walk again, and you said you didn't know, I almost called the room. I wanted to tell him the doctor said there's a 3% chance of partial recovery, that new treatments are being developed, that we shouldn't give up hope. Why didn't you? Because I realized those statistics aren't for him. They're for me. They make me feel like I'm doing something. Like I have control. Marcus's voice cracked. But Oliver doesn't need my statistics. He needs someone to tell him the truth. Which is, that I don't know. That I'm scared too. That I love him whether he walks again or not. Marcus wiped his eyes. I haven't told him that in months. Maybe years. Every conversation has been about therapy schedules and doctor appointments and progress metrics. I've been so focused on his body that I forgot to talk to his heart. Sophia reached across the table, squeezed his hand briefly. It's not too late. How do I start? Just start. There's no perfect way. Oliver doesn't need perfect. He needs real. Marcus heard footsteps above them. The sound of Oliver's wheelchair moving across the bedroom floor. He's up, Sophia said. Do you want to go up? Help him with his morning routine. Fear flickered through Marcus. I don't know how. You have a system. I'll mess it up. Then mess it up. He won't mind. He'll just be glad you're there. Marcus stood, then hesitated. What do I say? Good morning would be a start. He laughed despite himself. That's simple. That's simple. Marcus walked toward the stairs, then stopped. Sophia? Thank you. For the promise you made to Oliver. And for the truth you're telling me. You're welcome, Mr. Webb. Marcus. Call me Marcus. She smiled. Okay, Marcus. He climbed the stairs slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. At Oliver's door he paused. He could hear his son humming. That same melody Sophia had introduced. The rhythm they'd shared. Marcus knocked. Come in, Oliver called. Marcus opened the door. Oliver was already in his wheelchair, dressed in sweatpants and a t-shirt. He looked surprised to see his father. Dad? Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Marcus struggled for words. I wanted to say good morning. Oliver's eyebrows rose. Oh, good morning. An awkward pause. Do you need help with anything? Marcus asked. Sophia usually makes breakfast. I know. I thought maybe I could do it today. If that's okay. Oliver stared at him. Really? Really? What do you want? Pancakes. Marcus smiled. I can do pancakes. Come downstairs when you're ready. He returned to the kitchen where Sophia was already pulling out mixing bowls and ingredients. He wants pancakes, Marcus said. I heard. You know how to make them. I used to. Before. He trailed off. Before the accident, Sophia finished. It's okay to say it, Marcus. Before the accident, Sarah and I used to make pancakes every Sunday. Oliver would help crack the eggs. He was terrible at it. Always got shells in the batter. So make them the way you used to, Sophia said. With shells and all. Marcus started mixing ingredients. his hands remembering motions he hadn't performed in years. Oliver wheeled into the kitchen just as Marcus was heating the griddle. "Can I help?" Oliver asked tentatively. Marcus almost said no. Almost said Oliver should rest, that he'd handle it. Instead, he asked, "Want to crack the eggs?" Oliver's face lit up. "Really? Really? Probably get some shells in there, but that's tradition." Oliver wheeled to the counter. Marcus held the bowl steady. His son cracked 3 eggs, pieces of shell dropping into the batter with each one. "Oops," Oliver said. "Happens every time," Marcus replied, fishing out the shells. "I think you're actually getting better at this." "I used to be worse?" "Much worse. One time you got so much shell in there, we had to start over." Oliver laughed. A real laugh. "I don't remember that. You were 5. We just moved into the old house." They worked together, Oliver stirring while Marcus poured batter onto the griddle. Sophia watched from across the kitchen, staying present but letting them have this moment. "Dad," Oliver said as Marcus flipped the first pancake. "Yeah. Why are you home? Don't you have work?" "I cleared my schedule. Thought we could spend the day together. If you want." Oliver was quiet for a moment. Then, "I'd like that." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "Me too, buddy. Me too." They ate breakfast together, the 3 of them at the kitchen table. Marcus couldn't remember the last time he'd eaten a meal at home on a weekday. Couldn't remember the last time he and Oliver had talked about anything other than medical appointments. Oliver told him about the book Sophia was reading to him. About the sea creature he'd invented for his alternate ending. About how he'd held the exercise position for 25 seconds on Saturday and wanted to try for 30. Marcus listened. Really listened. Not planning his next response or thinking about work. Just present. After breakfast, Oliver asked, "Can we do therapy together?" "Sophia says I need a spotter for the next exercise." "I don't know the routine," Marcus admitted. "It's easy," Oliver said. "Sophia says it looks easy, but it's actually really hard. She says you probably can't even do it." Marcus looked at Sophia, who was grinning. "Oh, is that what she says?" "I said it looks easy but requires more core strength than people expect," Sophia clarified. "So basically that I can't do it," Marcus said, smiling. "I didn't say that. But if you want to try." "Show me," Marcus said to Oliver. They moved to the therapy room. Sophia demonstrated the exercise, a seated position with a resistance band creating tension while maintaining balance. Marcus attempted it. Failed immediately. "This is impossible," he said, laughing. "How are you doing this?" "Practice," Oliver said proudly. "Sophia says I'm getting stronger." "Not getting stronger," Sophia corrected gently. "You are strong. You're just learning how to use it differently." Marcus watched his son demonstrate the exercise properly. Saw determination instead of defeat. Saw capability instead of limitation. "Okay, Ollie's turn," Sophia said. "Marcus, you count." "I'll spot." "Count to what?" 30. "That's my goal," Oliver announced. Marcus sat down beside the wheelchair. "All right. Ready?" "Wait. Do the rhythm first," Oliver said. "It helps." Sophia began tapping the now familiar pattern on the floor. Marcus tried to join in, his rhythm offbeat. "Like this," Oliver said, demonstrating with one hand while positioning himself for the exercise with the other. Marcus matched it. The 3 of them, same rhythm, synchronized. "Okay," Oliver said. "Now I'm ready." Marcus counted. 1, 2, 3. Sophia kept the rhythm steady. Oliver's face showed effort, concentration, determination. 15, 16, 17. Marcus remembered all the therapy sessions he'd missed. All the progress reports he'd read but never witnessed. All the moments he'd watched through cameras but never shared. 25, 26, 27. Oliver was shaking now, his entire upper body engaged. 28, 29, 30. Oliver collapsed back, breathing hard, laughing. "I did it." Marcus realized he was crying again. Different tears than the night before. Not grief or guilt. Pride. Pure, uncomplicated pride. "You did it," Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. "We all did," Sophia said quietly. Oliver looked at his father, really looked at him. "Are you crying, Dad?" "Yeah," Marcus admitted. "I am. Because I'm proud of you. And because I'm sorry I haven't been here for this." "You're here now," Oliver said. Such simple words. Such profound forgiveness. Marcus reached out, squeezed his son's shoulder. "I am. And I'm going to keep being here. Even during work days? Even during work days. Work can wait. This can't." Oliver smiled. That same genuine smile Marcus had seen on the camera feed Thursday night. But experiencing it in person was entirely different. Warmer. More real. Again? Oliver asked. Again, Marcus agreed. They continued the exercise. Marcus counting, Sophia keeping rhythm, Oliver pushing himself. When he reached 35 seconds, they all cheered. New record, Sophia announced. What's next? Oliver asked eagerly. Your choice, Sophia said. What do you want to work on? Oliver thought for a moment. The rhythm thing. Can we do that? But bigger this time. Bigger how? Marcus asked. More instruments. Dad, you could play too. Marcus looked at Sophia, who was already smiling. I think we can arrange that. They moved to the living room. Sophia gathered wooden spoons, metal bowls, anything that could create sound. She handed instruments to Marcus and Oliver. We'll start simple, Sophia said. Same beat as always. Then we'll layer in variations. She demonstrated a pattern. Marcus attempted to copy it, fumbling at first, then finding the groove. Oliver joined in, his rhythm more confident than his father's. They played together. No pressure. No goals. Just sound and connection and presence. Marcus thought about the cameras in this room. Still recording. Still monitoring. But now he wasn't watching them. He was in the moment they were capturing. After 20 minutes, Oliver was tired but happy. Can we do this every day? Every day, Marcus confirmed. Promise. Marcus glanced at Sophia, who nodded encouragingly. Promise. That evening, after Sophia's official shift ended but before she retreated to the guest room, Marcus found her in the kitchen. Thank you, he said. For today. For everything. You did the work, Marcus. I just showed you where to start. You did more than that. You saved my relationship with my son. No, Sophia said firmly. That relationship was always there. You just needed permission to access it differently. Marcus nodded. The cameras. I'm going to remove them. Sophia shook her head. Don't. What? Keep them. But change how you use them. Instead of watching for problems, watch for moments. When you can't be there physically, use them to stay connected. See what Oliver's interested in. What makes him laugh? Then talk to him about those things. Turn surveillance into connection. Exactly. Marcus considered this. That's actually brilliant. Plus, Sophia added with a smile, if he tries to sneak cookies before dinner, you'll catch him. Marcus laughed. There is that. 2 weeks later, Marcus sat in his office. The monitors were there, but mostly dark. One feed showed the therapy room where Oliver worked with Sophia. Marcus watched for a moment, not to surveil, but to witness. Oliver was attempting a plank from his wheelchair. Upper body strength building. His face showed strain, but also determination. Sophia kept the rhythm tapping. Not counting down. Not encouraging. Just present. 20 seconds. 25. Oliver collapsed, laughing. That's my record. Last week was 17 seconds, Sophia observed. I want to get to 40, Oliver announced. You will. Not today, but you will. Marcus smiled. Closed the laptop. Stood from his desk. He walked down the hallway. Past the cameras he now barely noticed. At the therapy room door, he paused. Could hear laughter inside. His son's voice, bright with possibility. Marcus opened the door. Sophia and Oliver looked up. Mr. Webb, Sophia said. Perfect timing. We're working on core strength. Could use a third person for the next exercise. I thought I told you to call me Marcus. You did. I keep forgetting. What's the exercise? Marcus asked, entering the room. Partner resistance, Oliver explained. You and me push against each other while Sophia keeps time. I'm probably terrible at this, Marcus warned. You're terrible at all of them, Oliver said cheerfully. But you keep trying. Marcus laughed. Fair point. Show me what to do. They positioned themselves, Oliver in his wheelchair, Marcus kneeling beside him, so they were at the same height. Sophia explained the exercise. Ready? She asked. Ready, father and son said together. Sophia began the rhythm. Marcus and Oliver pushed against each other, their hands meeting in the space between them. Equal pressure. Equal effort. Marcus looked at his son's face. Saw concentration. Saw strength. Saw the person Oliver was becoming, not despite his disability, but incorporating it into who he was. 15 seconds, Sophia called. Oliver's arms were shaking. So were Marcus's. Keep going, Oliver said through gritted teeth. I'm not stopping if you're not, Marcus replied. 20 seconds. They held. The room filled with their breathing, with Sophia's steady rhythm, with the effort of two people pushing against and supporting each other simultaneously. 25. New record. Marcus's arms were burning, but he didn't drop them. Not while Oliver was still trying. 30. Oliver laughed, a breathless sound of triumph, and released. Marcus did the same, both of them collapsing backward. That was amazing, Marcus said. We did it together, Oliver pointed out. We did. Sophia handed them water bottles. Same time tomorrow? Same time tomorrow, Marcus and Oliver agreed. Marcus stood, helping Oliver adjust his position in the wheelchair. I have a conference call at 3, but I'll be done by 4. Want to work on that story you've been writing? Oliver's eyes widened. You want to read it? I want you to read it to me. If you're willing. Yeah, I'd like that. Marcus ruffled his son's hair, a gesture he hadn't made in years. Oliver didn't pull away. Later that night, Marcus sat in his office. Not watching cameras. Not working. Just thinking. He opened his laptop, pulled up a document, and began typing. A letter to his younger self. To the man sitting in a hospital waiting room 4 years ago, learning his son would never walk again. To the father who'd thought protection meant control, who'd confused surveillance with love, who'd built walls of money and technology instead of bridges of presence. He wanted to tell that version of himself, it gets better. Not because Oliver walks again. Not because the pain goes away. But because you learn that broken things can still be whole. That different doesn't mean less. That love isn't about preventing every fall. It's about being there to help someone stand back up, in whatever form standing takes. Marcus saved the document. Maybe he'd show it to Oliver someday. Maybe not. The act of writing it was enough. His phone buzzed. A message from Oliver. Can't sleep. Want to do the rhythm thing? Marcus smiled, closed his laptop, left his office and its cameras and monitors behind. He climbed the stairs to Oliver's room, carrying 2 wooden spoons from the kitchen. His son was sitting up in bed, waiting. Ready? Marcus asked. Ready, Oliver replied. Marcus began the rhythm. Slow. Steady. The same beat Sophia had introduced 2 weeks ago that had changed everything. Oliver joined in. Their rhythms synchronized. And in that moment, in that simple sharing of sound and time and presence, Marcus understood what he'd been searching for through 3 years of camera feeds and protective vigilance. Not control, not prevention, not the illusion of safety. Just this. Just connection. Just being with his son in whatever way each moment allowed. The rhythm continued. And in the house full of cameras that no one was watching, a father and son found their way back to each other. If this story moved you, if it reminded you to be present with the people you love, if it showed you that connection matters more than control, please like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories that touch the heart. Sometimes the most powerful transformations happen not when we fix what's broken, but when we learn to be present with it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for choosing connection.